Hey guys, Mike here. So, boy, what a big week ahead. I mean, a lot of employment data coming out. So, you're going to see rates flying over the place, and the market's going to be, you thought it was volatile last week. Oh, it's going to be volatile this week for sure. And also, one of the viewers did correct me, and thank you for that. I forgot. Oh, Jimmy Carter died, so they decided to shut down the market next week. I believe it's on Thursday. It's going to be the 9th, is what they picked. And so, again, not a normal week, another shortened week. I just totally forgot they were doing that. So I don't know why, but anyway, so we got that going on, but we're going through a lot of charts, and especially you got some stocks, you got some things happening, some catalysts maybe this week, like Nvidia coming up. They got one coming tomorrow, and there's a chart that'll show you that obviously it was moving up this last week, but it could move up the next 3 weeks. I'll show you why. And I'm going to show you 3 charts here that is mind-boggling, honestly. When I see these charts right here before we get into the other ones, I mean, just look at this right here. You got the S&P 500 saw the worst year-end rally since 1952. Index declined over 1% only 12 times during this entire period. I mean, that's stunning, right? Then you got the S&P 500 clock's first back-to-back 20% gain since 1998. Obviously, we know what that led up to. What I look at, though, is what happened after that. You had an 18% return. Look at all that green, right? But again, it's tough to do. I mean, it doesn't happen very often. And so, you know, of course, you also look at this and you go, well, you can tell the stock market goes up a whole lot more than it goes down, right? Look at the few red bars you get to see going back to 1980 right there. And so that's what when I look at these kind of charts, that's what I look at. But yes, first time since 1998. I know people are going, oh, it's the dot-com bubble. And yes, things are definitely getting up there. And this chart also will show that as well. Why not? S&P 500 price-to-book ratio now exceeds March 2000 high for the first time, and there it is. Boom! And so, yep, all this stuff is going around. We'll see where we're going to go this year. And I mean, you know, when you have two 20%ers, you're like, well, still going to have a green year, but it's going to depend on a lot of stuff. Again, just watch the bond market, please. Now, SPY, what do we got here? Obviously, had a big move up. What it did was, I don't know if you could tell, it just filled this gap. There was a gap right there. It filled to the penny. That is why it stopped. That's how it normally stops. Got to a decent key level right there. Again, remember, it's always a soap opera. That's the way it is. And they just grinded this thing up throughout the day. It just would not stop. I'll show you a few reasons why that is, of course. But you're going to hear people talking about bull traps and all that fun stuff coming up here. And there's just key levels you just got to get by, right? And the biggest level I think people are going to be watching is the golden pocket up here around 598 right there. And when we look down here, obviously, they're trying to get the MACD to stay above 0. You're trying to get the RSI above 50 level right there once again. And people are going to be watching to see what happens here, right? Do we get rejected right there and then start to head down to take out that low? Or is this a start of something bigger and we actually break through this? Because right above that, if it does break that level, it's going to fly. Because at least up to this level right here, 602, and the reason why that is, I'll show you on a different chart, is because you got that gap right there, right? So it is going to fly from 597 up to around that 602 level if that actually happens. So we will mark that out, and that will be that 0.79 level. Again, people are going to be looking for that as well and go, wait a minute, because again, on the shorter term time frames, you want to do what? You just want to start setting higher lows, higher highs. Right now, that is now what's happened. You can clearly see that is a downtrend. Okay, we'll extend this line out. That's going to be resistance as we go through this and stuff. And so the market's got some work to do. I mean, but January for a lot of stocks is actually really good. Another thing you got on the S&P is you sit here with some bullish divergence on your RSI, right? You got a higher low. The market did not sit there right there with a lower low right there, as you can see, but it didn't close out down there. And you can see all the volume gaps to the right, right? So you can see exactly where this can go. And so, again, that's going to be key. We'll just watch these levels as we go. There's no reason to panic and go, oh my God, we're going to a Great Depression, or oh my God, we're going to all-time new highs right now. Let's see how the market digests this move. It was a very big swing back up. And so, again, the options market had a lot to do with that. You can see on the Qs here, though, it's the opposite, right? You don't have that bullish divergence on the RSI right there on tech. And so, you know, but we all know how this works. If Tesla and Nvidia and if Microsoft ever gets going, we know where this is going. I mean, the equal weight ETFs had their bounce. We had talked about the moving averages, one getting a major bounce off a major moving average. Could that be it? We're going to find out, right? Everybody just have their patience. Now, IWM, once again, you got some bullish divergence here. And, you know, the key level is just 226.12. If you can get above 226.12, then, you know, you're cooking, okay? Can't get above 226.12, don't worry about it. That's just the way this is. And this is going to depend. Remember, we got the 10-year bond I told you about. If that spikes, if they demand more to buy those bonds, what do you think is going to happen to IWM? It ain't going up, most likely, that's for sure. It's going to be much tougher for it to do that. And so that's what we got to sit here and watch out. And a lot of unemployment data. So if it comes in super hot, unemployment data comes in great, watch the yields. Okay, just watch the yields. Now, when you look over here at Tesla, big day for Tesla, where'd it bounce? The Trumpeth thing just keeps on giving. Bounced once again, the fourth bounce is exactly where it bounced from. Boom. And not only did it have the anchor view up there, it had the old all-time high right there. So two different things. Took off right there, stopped at a very, very key level. But here's what was happening. I mean, once again, you got to watch options flow in Tesla. That's how it trades. It ain't fundamentals. It ain't nothing else. Man, and look at this right here. 900 calls for August 15th. I'm talking, it just kept rolling in. They started around like 1:30. And they kept going into close. It was like millions of them. And that's why you wouldn't stop. It just kept going up and up. I think it ended up 8% on the day, which is just mind-boggling. But that's the way it is. So maybe we don't come down and touch the 50. But, you know, somebody told me, one of my members told me, said, Tesla's never broke the 20-week and not touched the 50. I have no idea where they got that from, but let's watch and see if that plays out or not, or for the first time ever, that does not happen. And if Tesla breaks 414.50, which is going to be key and turns out in support, you can see this thing really start squeezing higher. But what's funny, speaking of Tesla, I mean, obviously you have Nvidia, which normally don't move together, but Nvidia had a really good day, stopped around 145 right there. So if it can break this, start turning to support, that's going to lead to 149.95, of course. And again, it's above this trend line. It's setting on the short-term time frames, what? Higher highs, higher lows. You're starting to build up, filling gaps, all that fun stuff's going on for this one. Again, tomorrow, you got Jensen doing a keynote speaking at an event forum. And I'm also going to show you something that's very bullish for at least the next 3 weeks, if seasonality actually means something. But it's funny when you look at these ratios, and since they can't seem to move together for at least 2 or 3 days in a row, we'll see if that breaks or not. You can see, obviously, Nvidia breaking out against Tesla here finally. And just look how dominating Tesla's been against Nvidia right here as it was going sideways, doing nothing. And there has been moments where, you know, if this is going sideways, they're doing okay, or at least even towards one another. But most time you're seeing one heavily outperform the other. And it was Nvidia for quite a while there. But now Tesla took that away since the election and everything. But now Nvidia is trying its best to move up right here. But when you look over, the next 3 weeks have normally been pretty bullish. And I actually looked on the charts for this to verify these the last 6 years. And you can see these are the next 3 weeks. And about the last week of January, like 90% positive rate. Again, they got things happening that could boost this. And when you look over here, you got news like this. Microsoft put this out Friday. It vows to spend $80 billion on AI data centers this year alone, which I think is almost double what it spent last year. So where are they getting those chips from, right? Then you got the semiconductors, SMH. I mean, this thing is still wedging. This is a weekly chart. And so you can see the moves. It's going to be a big move in one direction or the other, that's for sure. You would think it would be up. But again, we're going to wait and see. We're not going to get ahead of ourselves. You got stocks, right? I mean, money clearly rotating to some of these, like Taiwan Semiconductors, once again, at a key level. Avigo's kind of stalling right now. We'll see if they start to move back up. Money's obviously flowing into Nvidia right there. But watch the options market and see if you start to see more positive options. I see a lot more for Tesla right now. Look at Google here. This can go either direction. This is another one. And so, you know, it's not like an Nvidia Tesla. It's not a high flyer, but, you know, this one can go in either direction. Just getting wedged right here at a very key level of 190, 192. So if you get above that, go ahead and watch for 196. Then 200 is in the cars. It breaks down 184 and then 180 for this one. Move it over to Palantir. Another one just will not stop, man. The Palantir crew won't let this one fall. And if it does, they buy it up pretty quick. And you can see it made that area right there into support, right? It came down because we knew if it came in this gap, see you later, we're coming down, and they would not let it happen. But you can see how this move up is gone. You can see those gaps down, right? The little tree limbs on the right are your support, okay? Again, we got this trend line. It's back above this trend line. You got the fibs right above there. It's going to be your levels. If this decide to they can keep deciding to push it up and push it up and push it up, then obviously those fibs have been pretty key so far, so we'll keep them in place right there. Below the little shaded area, you can see where it just came down, made it support. That's going to be support as well. Then we got SoFi. They got hit with a short port and have been down since. You can see it did come down into a support area. If that breaks, you can clearly see it's going down probably like 1170 somewhere in there, around 12 bucks. But can it bounce from here? Of course it can bounce from here. If it bounces from here, then you can have around $16 is going to be your resistance right there. If that breaks, again, 11, 12 bucks is what you're looking for, because on this move up, and it's been a massive, massive move up for SoFi. One of the largest it's had. I mean, you have to go back to where it first came to inception to get this kind of move for it. And so that's why you're seeing these short reports come out on, like, well, the Carvanas might actually be true, who knows? But, you know, anything that's been high flyer, they're trying to do a short report on. But also, what else did it hit? The 50 moving average. And so now if it breaks that level and it breaks that 50, yeah, it's pretty high above the 100, 200 right now. So absolutely could. But right now, it is bouncing. So we're going to stick with it until it bounces. But you see where if it breaks, yeah, you got more downside. No doubt about that right there. And again, this isn't one of those that's usually a high flyer. It just caught fire, like on like Palantir and everything else, and they've just been pushing it up. It's been one of those theme type of names right here. And so again, that move right there, 110% in 72 days. That's a move. Let me tell you. Congratulations if you were in it. Now, HIMS, somebody asked me about this one. This is one of the hardest stocks I have to chart besides this trend line. It is all over the place. High flyer, moves up and down. I mean, don't be surprised to see 10% moves in less than a couple hours on this thing. But that trend line so far has been money since September. That's where it bounced, especially also as a 0.5 fib. It loves its fibs. It stopped at the 0.382. And so as long as that holds, this can move up. But when you look at this in the 4 hour, what is it? High, low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, right? So all you're trying to do is see if that last high gets broken on this thing, and it's such a high flyer. Again, you look at the chart. I mean, it's all over the place. So if that trend line breaks, you know you're coming down here between 20 and 22. Next one to look at is going to be 30 bucks if it continues this bounce once it breaks that next fib level. Last one here, just for the heck of it, BABA. I would never own these, but you can trade them. This one right here is looking like it's trying to set up for maybe a pop-up through that volume gap to like 95, 96 bucks if it can get some love right here. If it breaks down, obviously we're heading down to like 84.50, I believe that is. But just putting it out there for a trade, not some kind of investment deal going on here at all. You know, I don't buy Chinese stocks. Too many good American stocks. Now, when it comes to data, final services PMI, factory orders coming in Tuesday. ISM services PMI, JOLTS job openings. This always creates a lot of volatility. Wednesday, ADP non-employment changes, which usually contradicts JOLTS. Unemployment claims, of course, which are coming in lower than normally. 10-year bond auction. Watch that right there. See what they demand to start buying that. FOMC meeting minutes. Lots of volatility going to happen there at 2 o'clock. Thursday, it's supposed to be closed, but there is data coming out. 30-year bond auctions usually a nothing burger. And also, obviously, you can see all of the Fed speakers, right? A lot of Fed speakers coming out. Then Friday, average hourly earnings, non-farm employment change, unemployment rate coming out. So again, it is going to be super volatile. Rates will be all over the place. So watch IWM. It might be the biggest mover. Watch, see if they start rotating money into the Mag 7, especially Nvidia. It's a big one to watch right here. Again, you'll have Delta reporting earnings on Friday, I believe it is, and then the banks will kick off real earnings the following week. So please hit that like and subscribe button on your way out. Appreciate it, guys. Thank you for signing up for the membership. Last the McDonald's combo. That's everything you get with it. And I'll end up seeing you guys tomorrow for another fun day. Have a good one.